G'day YouTube. I thought this week I'd do a video on watering. I've had a few people asking questions about it lately, so I thought I might as well touch base and put it all out there. I'm lucky enough here in Sydney that our water is good enough that I can water directly from the tap. I think we're about 60 to 70 parts per million, which is nice and clean, so I don't need to worry about salt build-up, stuff like that too much. Especially out here in the greenhouse. The biggest advantage I have here and outside is I can flush the pots regularly. So just a standard garden hose here. I've brought out my Lowly campanulata. Oh, it's even a nice little spider in there. It's a beautiful plant. This is actually buried in the back of the greenhouse. During my deep clean I did last week, I actually found it. I'd completely forgotten about it. Gave it a bit of a tidy up, and it's looking fantastic. And I've just spotted now there's a little basil coming up, which is awesome. Anyway, you hear a lot about overwatering with nepenthes, causing all sorts of issues, whether it be edema, which I'll try and show you a bit further down the track, and essentially rot if you really push it. Now, overwatering does not mean you've watered too much in one sitting. So for instance, this plant here, probably don't need it quite so stiff. I could stand here and let that just flush through the pot. And you see all my potting mixes all have fantastic drainage. I mean, that just runs straight through, and the cocoa in this pot will absorb that moisture without issue. It doesn't matter how many litres of water I pump through that plant, that is not going to overwater it. Overwatering issues come from the media not getting a chance to dry out before you water it next. So if I had this sitting in a water tray, constantly topped up like you would with Venus flytraps, Sarracenias, stuff like that, there would be root rot problems. Again, it doesn't come from the water though, it's a bacterial problem that then causes the root rot issues. And you'll see it in your plants. It'll start from the base, or actually start under the media. The roots will start to rot away. The plant will generally look like it's struggling to get water, so you may be tempted to water it more. And all that happens is the stem starts to rot, the rot will start climbing the stem. If you do see this, will be the stem down by the soil will be turning black. The leaves will be turning black from the stem outwards, the lower leaves. If you ever do see that, you have to act fast. I have lost a couple of plants to rot over the years. I've also saved a couple of plants. Sterile tools. Cut it above the rot. Check the core of the plant. If there's still black in the core, re-sterilize your tools, cut it a little bit higher up, and hopefully you can get such a solid green core. Pot that up like you would a cutting, and from there it's basically hope for the best. If you've got it in time, you will be able to save it. It will grow roots, and you'll have the plant back in a couple. It might take a year or two, a couple of years to get back to where it is, depending how much you lost on the plant. But it is savable. The lesser issue you'll get is edema, which I believe is the cells in the leaves are absorbing too much water and the cells in the leaves actually bursting. It's not deadly to the plant, it's mostly just unsightly, but I will show you that. I think I did see a plant with it earlier, so I'll try and find that. Another thing I wanted to touch on is do not mist your plants. I know there's all this stuff online saying, oh, nepenthes are high humidity, you need to mist them. All you're going to do is risk introducing fungal problems. Some plants will show burning if you sunlight on it when you've misted, when the leaves are wet. I can show you that as well. I've actually switched off my misting system here. I think now I've got my potting mixes good enough, the humidity is good enough in here, I've got good airflow. I don't need the misters. I was using that just to keep the potting area a bit better watered. But I'm home every day. I can come out here and check. I'll come in here pretty much every day, go through, check pots. The easiest one to tell is just lift the pot slightly. If it feels too light, you know that pot needs water, and that's something you'll learn from checking your pots. Like I know the different medias, how much they should weigh when they've got plenty of water, how much they're weighing when they're drying out. Obviously down with the seedlings, I do more of a visual check. Once the tops of the media is starting to get nice and dry, then I'll go through and water. But also due to the amount of plants, if I'm seeing multiple plants are drying out and getting light, I will just walk through the greenhouse and I'll water everything at once. Just because I don't have time to check every single plant every single day. So I'll take you around and show you a couple of watering issues. So here, this is the truncata. I got it last year. This here was the leaves getting wet from the misting system, and then the sun hitting the leaves and actually burnt the leaves. Now misting will not increase your humidity. It might increase it for 5-10 minutes, but after that you're back to whatever your humidity in the house is. The best advice I can give is trying to raise the humidity, grouping plants together, putting them on humidity trays, stuff like that will actually increase. Or get a small humidifier in your house to keep around your plants, and that should keep them happy. You can actually see a bit of oedema here just in front of my thumb, that raised swollen lump there, and underneath the leaf you can see more damage there as well. A little spider as well. Look, it's not, as I said, it's not deadly to the plant. As you can see, the new leaf here, which is a massive leaf jump, actually, is looking nice and healthy. Ignore the white on there. I sprayed some caterpillar dipple over all my plants last weekend or during the week, because I've started getting a few caterpillars in the garden eating the veggies and things like that. So I decided to spray everything before they get in here and munch on the plants. Actually, I did get that there on this Rafflesiana basil was a caterpillar that decided to munch on the growth tip, unfortunately. Here's another example of some oedema. Burst cells in the leaf. That actually got quite bad. I think that was actually sitting under the misting system. I've only turned it off recently. Basically just got sick of the issues I was getting with it. See here on an older Veitchii leaf, it had some. This was a struggle to keep wet for a while. I had it in a net pot like this, and it was just drying out daily. So I swapped it out for this. The media holds a bit more moisture, a bit more standard. And you can see down here all the seedlings and stuff. Same idea when it comes to watering. I'll just go along and make sure everything gets nice and wet. Now I know I am getting water on the leaves, but seeing that this will only be once a day at most, and I've got fans all through the greenhouse. You see one hiding back there, one there, another one up the top, another one there, and I've actually got two more sitting inside that I've got to bring in and install. So that will dry the leaves off very quickly. Heliophora there, I'll make sure to get water in all the pitchers, flood the pot. They like plenty of water, so keep them nice and moist. Really with watering, so the main points being a well drained media, something that the water can just run through and drain out. As I said last week, my favourites are cocoa chips and perlite, or my Akadama mix. Both of them drain very freely and very quickly. I definitely try not to keep them in water trays. I will do saucers. These come with the pots. I'll put these on when it's either a brand new, a fresh pot up, because I do find sometimes the cocoa doesn't hold as much water for a while till you've watered it in a good few times. So I'll put that on. Or if the plant's just getting too big for its pot, if it's in one of these, I'll stick a saucer on it, and that traps a bit of water. The media can pull it up, and it just gives me a bit longer before I need to repot. But I definitely don't keep my plants in water trays. I know a few people that do. I have done in the past with success, but it's not something I'd recommend. One thing I will touch on, if you are growing inside, you might have seen my videos. I've got a Highland grow fridge in there now. I've also added a Heliophora terrarium, which I'll probably do a rundown of soon as well. In there I am using reverse osmosis water just because it's harder to flush the pots out. So we'll use the RO water, 0 parts per million. I can just water lightly as needed, and seems to be keeping the plants nice and happy. Alright, I think that's it for this week. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next week, hopefully. Cheers. Bye.